Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we're returning with round 14 of season 3 of the F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Hungary, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was quite an interesting one from a circuit that often, weirdly, gives us decent races But unfortunately, though, yeah, Charles Leclerc once again still able to extend his championship lead at the top of the table. Now he has got a 100, I believe it's 12-point gap over myself. I think he's got 55 or 57 points over Max Verstappen. We'll take a look when we head over there in just a moment as well. But yeah, Leclerc, as we get towards the summer break, he is absolutely dominating proceedings. 58 points, yeah, there we go, over Max Verstappen. 112-point margin over myself. I think our goal in the second half of the year is just try and beat Max to P2 in the championship and make sure that obviously Ferrari can lock down both titles as well, although admittedly Leclerc is nearly doing that single-handedly at this stage of the campaign. It has been a brilliant first half of the year for Charlie Boy. We're just hoping this weekend we can try and get a big result before the summer break. I'd love to get a win here in the Ardennes, just so as we get ready for the second half of the year, we can try and carry a bit of momentum. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. We're trying to hit 140,000 subscribers on the channel at the moment. And yeah, let's do this thing.
It's the longest track with the shortest name. Plenty of thrilling high-speed corners here to get to grips with during practice at Spa-Francorchamps.
Well, tracks don't come much better than here at Spa then. This weekend, I'm really looking forward. You know, we've had a couple of absolute stinkers recently. Really the last 3 Grand Prix in a row. None of them have been anything to write home about. I'd just love to get a podium at the very least this weekend. But yeah, hopefully we can try and get a little bit more than that. Just make sure Charles Leclerc, as we head into the summer break, he's just aware that, you know, he's not going to have it all his own way throughout the entirety of the campaign this year. You know, we are still here to fight, and even if it's just more preparing ourselves for next year, you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, he and the team know I want to fight for world titles. We absolutely still feel that we have got the skill to become Formula 1 world champion. I mean, for all we know, Leclerc might end up having mechanical issues in the second half of the year. I was having a look through. We've had 3 DNFs. Leclerc and Verstappen have had none. So surely in kind of like an even sense, they're both due some mechanical issues towards the end of the year. But ultimately, we've just got to make sure that we're beating them on the road and not relying on those kind of things. As we make our way then through the final chicane, let's try and make sure we get the power down nice and tidy. That's going to be a purple score to kickstart the weekend. Feels like a while since I've had one of them. Well, it wouldn't be a free practice session if we didn't try and do a lap in anger to finish it off. And so far, half a second up on the Delta. We've just crept the time up into the purple score here as we make our way through Blanchimont then right towards the end of the lap. I mean, it's so much fun, this place. I really have. Now I've raced it a bit more, I do love the new version of Spa inside F124 as well. And to finish things off, it is going to be purple. I want pole position today.
Welcome to the behemoth that they value so highly. This is Spa, it's high speed, it is really challenging. We have elevation, we have dramatic corners, and we have one driver in a few moments' time who will take pole position.
Well, Alex Jakes obviously said that one of us is going to claim pole position here, and then the camera team panned to a shot of virtual me. I also noticed I'm desperately dyeing my hair inside this game, because there's no way my hair is that black anymore. I am only 24, and I am starting to go grey. The stress of playing the F1 game each day, that's the kind of toll it has on a man, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, as we move then into Q2, hopefully we can immediately see ourselves into the third and final session. I wasn't expecting us to fight for pole at Hungary last weekend. I thought it would be a track that really favoured Red Bull. They ended up still being a Ferrari 1-2. This place, though, this place should really fall into our wheelhouse, so I'm excited to see how Charles and I get on here. And let's not forget, after the summer break, we've got Zandvoort, and then it's the big one for Ferrari. We're back at home for the Italian GP as well, so obviously we took pole at Imola. That's the other one I really want to take pole at before this year is over. Well, I haven't used my battery particularly effectively around this lap, just trying to learn where are the best places to use it. Is really attack that curb through the final chicane. Drop the hammer out of the final corner. So much grip on the rear end of 41.8. Okay, we have put it straight into P1. And that should give you a little bit of an idea as to why I was so both shocked and excited by that lap time there. Quarter of a second up on Charlie, 7/10 up on both McLarens again here. I mean, it's looking like it's Charles Leclerc versus myself. Perez out in Q2, but both Haas cars making it by. They are just absolutely, I mean, take me out of the equation. This is easily the best Haas car they've ever delivered. Hulkenberg is even able to get stuff out of it. That might be their first ever double Q3 appearance in this series. Well, I certainly don't just want to go back to Haas immediately if we win a world title with Ferrari, but I could be tempted to go back there later on inside this game for a bit of a swan song. I ultimately don't know how many seasons I'm going to do in F1 24 career mode. I'm just really enjoying the game still at the moment and enjoying kind of doing this series. So, I mean, the maximum we can do is 10. I mean, could we get there by the end of F1 2024? I don't really know. We've maintained the pretty much daily uploads for a really long time already, so we're doing pretty well with it. We've only taken a few days off since the game came out. Well, I mean, we're over halfway through Season 3. The game's been out for about 2 months, so yeah, plenty more to come, though, in the future. So if you aren't already, that surely is going to be another reason to get yourself subscribed. Another reason to get yourself subscribed is hopefully going to be this lap. I want to try and go quicker than we did in Q2, because I think Leclerc is just slowly bumping up his pace. Charles as well has rather an odd record here. He's taken 3 pole positions in the Ardennes, but he's only actually ever gone fastest in one of them. Max Verstappen, of course, both in 2022 and 2024, obviously started, or set the fastest time on Saturday, but obviously took grid penalties, and Leclerc, yeah, has claimed pole position in 2 of those occasions. So are we going to see him get his second actual pole position here this weekend? Or are we going to have the pace over him then as we spot the 100-meter board there, braking nice and tidy on the way in? Through the final corner we'll go, up towards the line. It is going to be a 1:41.7. We lower the benchmark even more as Lando Norris splits the Ferraris. That work out if everybody, I think they are finishing off their laps, aren't they, just in front? So yeah, Leclerc has absolutely been caught out there behind George Russell at the end of his lap. We've got one more opportunity though here in anger, and I want to try and go for an absolute flyer around this circuit. Roll on the throttle out the final corner. A little bit of battery to get us up through the lower gears, and let's take you for a lap then here of the Spa circuit. Braking at the 100-meter ball, ready for turn 1. Get the car down in second gear there and try and really get on the throttle early on the exit of that corner. Use a bit of the battery down the hill, and then just as you get in towards Eau Rouge, use that extra brake horsepower again just to give you a bit of a kick up the other side there. See, immediately drag the car into the green. As you open up the DRS there, just bring it back down again, and you'll find the time all the way up this back straight there. It might mean you're a little bit down around the rest of the lap, but I think it's really, really worth it there. Let's try and chuck the car in through the Lecom chicane. Really nicely on the X there, braking just as you reach the curb on the outside for this horrible hairpin. The back end, oh, sorry, the front end even, always wants to claw away from you. Try to avoid taking too much curb through the exit of the corner, otherwise it'll compromise your run. Pouon is completely flat, as in completely flat, and ever so slightly wide that time round. I think we just about kept the rear wheel inside track limits there, hence why the lap didn't get invalidated as well. 5th gear as you thread your way through the Fagnes chicane. We've got a little bit of traffic in front, but hopefully isn't going to be too much of a problem. 4th gear through the entry of Stavolo. Be really, really careful on the exit as well, that you don't compromise your line. Half a second up though, with just a couple more corners left. We are going to lose a little bit of delta now to the AI, but I'm hoping they're going to move out of the way, and I'm hoping we're getting a nice faint slipstream as well from them there as Lando Norris does finally back out of it. 2 more corners to go through the bus stop chicane there. Really try and get on that apex through the first part. Avoid Lewis Hamilton on the exit, up towards the line. Half a second improvement. It's a 41.2. We have smashed it. Well, it's not often you out-qualify Charles Leclerc in this game. It's certainly less often on 110 AI when you're out qualifying by near enough a second here. I know we got held up on his second run. I think we would have seen him in the high 41s, to be completely honest, so that doesn't paint the full picture. But 9/10 of a second faster than Lando Norris. We are cooking here in qualifying, but at the other two races where we smashed everyone to pole, we had a mechanical failure. Hopefully that isn't foreshadowing. Let's get into the Grand Prix.
The Belgian Grand Prix, a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since a certain Michael Schumacher in 1992. One of the circuits that makes Formula One, Formula One. Welcome to the Belgian Grand Prix. 19 corners, 4.3 miles or 7 kilometres. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, with long stretches of the lap spent flat out. Look out for the bus stop chicane. The final challenge before the temporary relief of the start-finish straight. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Firestarter lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Hülkenberg, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Perez, Stroll, Albon, Zhou, Vesti, Tsunoda, Behrman, Ocon, Ricciardo. Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How did they change the story today?
You've got to put it behind you. Whatever happened last time, I was always told as a driver, park it, forget about it. Obviously, feel the pain when it happens, but then you can't dwell on it and carry that through to the next race. So put it behind you and just crack on with this race coming your way now.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well, apparently every single race I seem to do in this game at the moment, according to the commentary team, is an absolute stinker. No mention of my qualifying dominance or anything like that. They like to focus on the negative. Inside F124, I'm not like that though. I like to focus on the positives where possible, and the positive today is that we get 22 laps, hopefully, around this Belgian Grand Prix circuit. Soft to medium is going to be the way to go. I am looking forward to this. We just need to try and get a nice clean start for the run down in towards turn 1. And there's everyone around me on medium, so not sure what to make of that. It is 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go. They're not responding particularly well. Leclerc and Lando Norris immediately kind of trying to look around the outside in towards turn 1 as we're going to be 3 wide there. We're just going to get a little bit pinched in between our teammate and the inside wall. And we had to give him the room. We could not afford to risk any damage to either of the cars at the start of this one. But Leclerc, they're a power move up into the lead of the Grand Prix. And immediately we're going to try and go on the offensive on Lando Norris there, who hangs on to P2. He's overtaken one Ferrari, but lost the place to the other one then. Is trying to get the straight line speed around the outside of the McLaren there. He just pinches himself a little bit too far down in the apex. And we didn't get a 1-2 in Saturday, but we are up to a 1-2 come Sunday early on then. Charles Leclerc, though, again, whenever I seem to start from pole recently, he seems to be able to snooker away from me on lap 1. He's really figured out the launches in this car in a way that I just can't. But yeah, not a fan of the way he pinched me there down in towards turn 1. I don't quite know where Lando Norris is, so I'm not going to say he necessarily did it on purpose, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more room through that first apex there. You know, had to really lean up against the wall. I don't want to start ruining his races with the championship lead. Plus, I think that would be a pretty good way to get kicked out of Ferrari very, very fast. But as we make our way then at Stavolo, I'm expecting both of us just to be able to pull away from the rest of the field. Hülkenberg, get that screenshot, is up into P5. How on earth is he managing that? And where was that when I was at the team? I guess this is going to be a good first test then to work out what the straight line speed is like relative to our teammate. So we make our way then down in towards Eau Rouge, up rally on the other side. Having spent some time in that grandstand, it is absolutely incredible as well. I would highly recommend it, even if it's not for the Formula 1, for another race. It is so cool.
As quickly as you can. Push, push.
As we try to have a look around the outside of Charles there, again, just having to be a little bit careful. Don't know where he's going to try and position the car. We've got a lot of straight line speed. But yeah, ultimately there, not quite enough to fully get round him. Well, we're just starting to get Lando Norris out of the DRS range then. So I'm intrigued to know, Hulkenberg's gone the same way as me, why more of the AI didn't opt for the soft compound tyre at the start of this one. Maybe they're going to try and go the alternate. I'd be very surprised if anybody did. You can see Leclerc now as well, just opening up the gap over myself. So a bit like Hungary, I don't know why I pronounced it so oddly last time. Just seems like the soft compound tyre can't last as well as we were hoping it would. And now our teammate has got me out of the range. That's not ideal. Well, there we go then, using a bit more battery last lap, we can get in the range of Charles Leclerc once again. It's already, yeah, this is really shaping up a little bit like Silverstone. And we're kind of just battling each other, but pulling away from the rest of the field a little bit. I'm not convinced the tyres are going to hang on that well. We're just struggling slightly with rear temperature. It's nowhere near as bad as it was at the Hungaroring, but I think this first stint now is more about just keeping Leclerc close, maybe going for the undercut, and then kind of seeing what we can do on the second set of tyres. I wonder if fans as well watching on are just thinking that we're in flying formation right now, because, I mean, we're staying close to Leclerc, but we're just not able to challenge him. That is not the case. I am genuinely trying to drive this thing as fast as I can. If I can get a run on him, then I will. Yeah, the tyre's definitely now starting to fall off. But yeah, Leclerc's just hanging on really nicely. I'm pushing just to keep up with him. He might have more pace in the other car. I've got nothing else in this. I mean, we have had other concerns in recent races that maybe Red Bull had caught us up. Maybe McLaren and Mercedes had finally become rivals to the team as well. I'll tell you what, as a race to finish on before the summer break, Ferrari, we have made a statement once again. I know it is still early doors in the GP, but yeah, 1 and 2, 5 seconds clear of anybody else, and opening up that gap each and every lap. Leclerc and me, yeah, we have done a really, really good job so far with the development package of this car. There are rumours as well that the rule changes, obviously the limited upgrades that we could do, is actually going to get lifted for the second half of the season. So that might allow other teams that potentially have got some resources in the waiting to be able to pile on upgrades. But yeah, that I think is a topic for another day. I'm going to try and go one more lap on this set of tyres. We are just starting to struggle with the rear temperature there overheating. But I think we can get one more out of it and still then get the undercut on Charles. Well, it is a horrible, horrible balance towards the end of the stint. We've lost more time to Leclerc this lap.
Remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
As you can see, yeah, really, really trying to push off the exit Stavolo. But of course, we know on the other end of the race, it will hopefully make things a little less painful. Leclerc's been able to go pretty well on his set of mediums. So now it's about trying to get the undercut on our teammate here. As into the pit lane we're going to come. Oh, a little bit easy. It's a horribly narrow pit lane entry still here. It really is quite a unique one in a bit of an odd way.
Targets for now. We've got to focus on the pit stop.
But I guess for us, yeah, the hope is that we come out in some clear air, to be honest. I mean, Leclerc might be able to overcut me here and look pretty good.
Now, come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
Nice, clean, tidy pit stop as well, which is always ideal. And I think we're actually going to come out in some pretty clear space right now. Haven't dropped anywhere near down the order as I was expecting.
Penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
There we go, take a look at that then. Back out in P6 then of the GP. No Fred Vestes to battle with this weekend. Oh, we've got yellows, Leclerc! What's Leclerc done? Is he out? Has he just binned it? What on earth has our teammate done? He's getting going again. But Leclerc's gone and binned it. Well, riding on board then with Charles Leclerc as he makes his way up the Kemmel straight then. Are we just going to see him get a little bit of over-rotation on the exit? No! He's actually on the way in. So clearly pushing to make sure he doesn't get undercut in this Grand Prix. Leclerc, for the first time all year, has proven that he's not perfect, that he can make errors, and George Russell now is up into the lead of the GP. There we go then, the first real mistake we've seen all season by our teammate. I wondered whether it was impossible for him to make errors inside this game, but apparently not the case there, and that could have huge ramifications as we get in towards the end of this GP. I mean, surely now we're going to have the undercut on him, because of course he's dropped in behind George Russell in this GP, as we'll try and put the power down to get around Pierre Gasly, of course the man that took my seat over at Haas. Ollie Behrman running up inside the top 10 as well, so he's having a really good day out of it so far as well. Really has built up confidence in that Williams car so far this year, but Leclerc into the pit lane then. So we're going to try and look down the inside of Gasly. Hopefully we can get a nice... What? No! Gasly's tried to pit! Oh, damn it, man. I can't believe that. Both Ferraris go around in the space of a lap. Admittedly, there was a bit less we could do in mine than our teammate could. And suddenly now then, is everybody else making their way back out of the pit lane? Are we even going to be in the lead of this GP there? I can't believe Pierre Gasly there just drove through me.
In your MFD if you need to.
As luckily we're still going to get the jump on George Russell there and be out at the front of the field. But both Ferraris going for a spin inside one lap. And that has suddenly meant all the pressure is back on. Well, it hasn't taken Charles Leclerc long before he's got straight back past George Russell here, and now he's back inside the 1 second zone of myself. So I think Leclerc suddenly pulled his finger out. I mean, that spin for us has just given him a lifeline back into this race. Otherwise, it could have been a very, very quiet second half of the afternoon, just trying to control the pace at the front of the field. I guess for me, what's good is obviously ours. There was nothing we could do. Gasly just drove through me off of the exit of that penultimate corner. Leclerc, as we saw, yeah, was a mistake obviously all by himself. So with 12 laps now to go of this race, let's take a look, see how good Leclerc's car is in a straight line. Alex Albon, new fastest lap of the day as well in that Williams, so they're having a good weekend out, as you would expect around such a high-speed circuit. But are we going to see Leclerc get the run on me then as we make our way up the Kemmel Straight? He's gaining, but it's not going to be enough that time.
Okay, mate, that's Charles behind. They are faster than you. Do you understand? They are faster than you. Let them through, please, mate.
For the second time in 3 races, we have been told that Charles Leclerc is faster than me. I am not happy with that. I am not happy about the team trying to play these games right now. I'll let him by, but I'm certainly not going to give it up for the rest of the race. We'll move out of the way down here for him. Team clearly want us to make this call.
I know it's not nice, but head down and let's focus on your own race.
Yeah, we're not going to be focusing on our own race. We're going to focus on beating him still. I don't care. Oh, we've got yellows out. One of the McLarens has gone. I think that's Oscar Piastri then. We might be grinding to a halt. Here is Leclerc, new fastest lap of the day. This has got to be the lap where I try and go for fastest, especially if we're going to have a slipstream up the Kemmel Straight then. But Oscar Piastri, McLaren's reliability this year has been pretty good for the most part, but clearly not flawless. So are we going to be able to get a run on our teammate? Then you can see we're running slightly higher ride height, and I think that allows us just to be a bit more confident up through Eau Rouge and Radion. So out onto the Kemmel Straight we go. Oh, Leclerc, I thought he was going to defend it more, but it's going to be a pass on the grass, but round the outside and back into the lead again. Well, purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2 as well. Let's hope this is going to be a new fast lap of the day. It's out of the final corner, up towards the line. 43.8 there. There we go. Immediately we will try and reclaim that bonus point. But Leclerc, though, still tucked up in the DRS. It's not going to be tucked up for long. Charles Leclerc, I think, is about to try and get the run on me again as we make our way up the Kemmel Straight. Here goes our teammate, wheel to wheel again. And Charles Leclerc, yeah, I mean, this car is very, very effective with its DRS open as well. I mean, it's got so much straight line speed. But Leclerc back through on lap 15. Oh, as we almost take ourselves out of the race entirely.
If you think you can get past, make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
There we go. That is clearly permission by Mark that we are still allowed to overtake our teammate here late on in the day. George Russell now, he's still in P3 there, but he's actually got a bit of a gap over a battling Verstappen and Lando Norris. But now the mind game's just starting to come in between myself and Charles once more. Hopefully we can try and get a run on him up this Kemmel Straight again. This time around he's going to sit a little bit more defensive, and you can see how well that car is able to work at the top speed. Make sure we give him some room, but not back out of it ourselves there. I mean, this is really, really important. Leclerc once again will hang on down the inside. Try and get a run on him, but he's going to cut us off there as into the hairpin we'll go. Leclerc for another lap. We're going to have to stare at his gearbox.
Just so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors, so I don't think you need to be worried, just some bad data. So keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
If that ends up being a mechanical failure, I might take a sabbatical throughout the second half of this season. I've just been trying to think how many races have we really gone wheel to wheel like this with our teammate? I don't think any of them have we come out on top come the end of the afternoon. So this is massive for us if we can beat Charlie today. I really want to try and get the win here. I love this circuit, but Leclerc at the moment is still doing everything he needs to. I just can't find a way around. Again then, we'll try and get the run as we make our way out onto the Kemmel Straight. And again, Charles just about works out what I'm doing early enough there. But I mean, again, how much battery must he be using to try and hang on to this? And look how late he's able to go on the brakes as well. And like I said, we cannot afford contact. I can't help but feel that if a collision was made between us, the book would absolutely get thrown at me here. We're allowed to race him as long as we don't cost the team points still. Ferrari, as much as anything else, they would like the Constructors' title back, as we cannot make mistakes like that. Come on. And this is where the pressure and the politics of a big team scenario really can affect us here. Leclerc, he's obviously well embedded within this team. They know him, he knows them. He knows exactly the right person to go to when needed as well. And for us, it still feels like we are the outsiders still, as Leclerc again just will park the car at the right point. I've absolutely got the pace to match him. I absolutely feel like I've got the skill and the determination. But if you don't have the team fully supporting you as well, it can be very, very difficult to make that impact here. Still following him. 4 laps to go after this one. It surely is going to be a Ferrari that takes the win. But which one is it going to be? This time around, we're actually going to get a nice run up in towards the final few corners of the lap. Haven't seen too many overtakes here. I guess if we get the opportunity, we've got to try and go for it. He's trying to close in on Charles. We'll have a look around the outside. No, we won't. Again, our teammate, they're not afraid to slam the door on our face through those final couple of corners. I mean, this is really coming down to the wire at the moment. Reminiscent of the early part of the season, where every single race seemed to be a last lap battle. But are we going to get another one here today, or are we going to see Leclerc just start to stretch his advantage on those hard compounded tyres? Could we make it through and just pull away a little bit on our mediums? Only time will tell. But again, just trying to hang between the white lines up through Eau Rouge. And again, we'll try and use that DRS to get a run on our teammate here to really try and suck up behind him. So you can just see there the light flashes up. Going late on the brakes that time round there. We actually run a little bit too deep. But Leclerc will let me have it. Leclerc slots in behind. And for the first time in a few laps, we are back into the lead of this GP. Now it's a case of how long will we hold on to it this time. Okay, Leclerc's clearly taking a leaf out of my book. Up in towards the final couple of corners. We're going to be side by side through Blanchimont. This time round, we'll just about tuck back in. We'll try and switch him on the exit of the corner there. No, again. Oh, what is Leclerc? I mean, he's just moving around a little bit in the braking zone. Kind of took me by surprise, and just starting to feel now that the pressure cooker is reaching boiling point here. Not close enough again to have a look for anything down in towards turn 1. But we are practically going to be pushing our teammate along there. He's really good, though, at getting the run off the corner. It's one of the Saubers seemingly dropping to the wayside then, so at least we know which is our 2 kind of normal cars to get a mechanical failure today. I always breathe a sigh of relief when you have a second mechanical issue for an AI, because hopefully that means obviously we won't have one by the end of the GP there. But as Leclerc again, just about going to be able to get the nose still in front. Oh, parking it on the apex here. He is bringing out every trick in the book. Staggeringly though, this is a bit like Bahrain 2014 for Merc. We're pulling away from Russell behind still, despite the fact that both Ferraris have gone for a spin at one point or another during this afternoon's GP. It looks like we are still going to walk away with a 1-2, but the real question is, which way round will it be? We haven't seen Ferrari battles like this, you know, for wins regularly since probably, what, 2002? Barrichello and Michael Schumacher, they're trying to get photo finishes at various locations over the course of the season. But with one more to go here, the pressure is still high between myself and Leclerc. We both want to go into the summer break with that final win on the board. Leclerc will be his 3rd win in a row again. So Ferrari, looks like we're going to make it 5 wins back to back.
Concentration, and let's bring it home.
As we head into the summer. But which way around is it going to be there? Running a little bit wide through turn 1. I've been really strategic last lap just to save up a bit of the battery so we can try and go for a full run here on Leclerc this time round. But I know he will likely do the same thing as well, leaving it wide open in the overtake mode there as we make our way up the straight. We can see now, just starting to struggle a bit more there as we've got the top end speed though. Leclerc, he's got nothing left. Why has he not got anything down the back straight? And we're going to move through and up into the lead then of the Belgian Grand Prix on the very last lap here. Has he just baited me though? Is he going to try and use the run up in towards the final couple of corners as we have not got very much charge at all? Obviously the battery pack might say we got a fair amount, but of course it's the deployment that is the big limiting factor in these Formula 1 cars at the moment. It's Leclerc again, you can see hungry as we make his way down through Pouhon here. Just a few more corners to go with the Belgian Grand Prix, and this is absolutely critical as we make our way through Fanyas, really just kind of parking on the apex like we saw our teammate doing so many times before this afternoon. But this could decide the momentum for the second half of the year. They're a little bit of a mistake as we dip the wheel in the gravel. Are we going to see our teammate get the run on me? Yes, we are. Charles Leclerc trying to have a look for it, but he, again, has not got enough. He hasn't got enough. Charles Leclerc fading away as we have just left the battery wide open in towards the final couple of corners. The win margin is going to be less than the qualifying margin here, but through the final corner, we are going to win the Belgian Grand Prix back on top. And what a way to end the first half of the year.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they've persevered to take the win here today.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, there we go then. Pole position, fastest lap, race victory. It doesn't get much better than that, and we can enjoy some well-earned time off over the summer as well there. Ferrari, yet another one too, to kickstart the summer celebrations as well, but I'm sure Leclerc will be gutted that he wasn't quite able to walk away with a victory today. Russell ahead of Verstappen and Lando Norris, with Alonso, Albon, Hülkenberg, Perez, and Lewis Hamilton rounding out your top 10 there. Ollie Behrman agonisingly close to points when all is said and done. Williams had a really good race car this weekend, but unfortunately for the rookie there, just not quite able to use it to the best of his abilities. Zhou Guanyu, he didn't actually retire from the race, he just had a puncture late on in the day there, so he still walks away with a checkered flag finish. And that means in terms of the championship, well, the gap between myself and Verstappen back down to just 40 points there. There's a long way to go still in the second half of the year. Even if we can't get back ahead of Charles, I'd love to still try and make sure that we finish runner-up against the Dutchman there. Norris and Russell now tied on 146 behind me, ahead of Alonso and Oscar Piastri there. Hamilton, it has been a slow old year for him as Albon just extends his gap over Lance Stroll. Hülkenberg as well, big points for him this weekend, meaning he's now ahead of Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo as well. There is it's still Behrman and both of those Saubers that are yet to score a point. Constructors-wise, Williams again just extending that gap over Haas. So they could definitely be a threat to Aston Martin next year if things went their way. And you can see Ferrari as well, 185-point lead as we head into the summer. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with the F1 2000 career mode. We will actually take a summer break. This series will hopefully return on Tuesday, ready for the Dutch Grand Prix.